Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. Y'all are really cutting up this Monday, huh? Is it a Monday? I think it's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. Y'all's really acting a fool this good Monday morning. I woke up, first thing I saw was, I keep forgetting that wrestling is over there in Australia, so it's in Perth. So instead of it coming on at like 8 o'clock at night, it comes on at 8 in the morning. Wrestling is on at 8 in the morning. But it was kind of good for me because I didn't have nothing to do this morning. But anyway, I saw that trending. And then under the little trending page or whatever, I saw Marc's name. I'm like, yeah, ain't no way. I go click on the video, whatever, see the 4-minute video of Flip and Marc going back and forth. But because I have a Patreon, I wanted full context, not just the clips. So again, I'm speaking as somebody, number one, that y'all know I watch this show all the time. Y'all know I have Patreon. And I didn't just watch the 4-minute clip. I literally watched damn near pretty much, I'm almost at the end of the episode at this point. Because I wanted to get full context. I wanted to see if anything was said after and before. So, before we actually get into what happened, I just want to say that this is all Joe's fault. Per usual, this is all Joe's fault. Because as he calls himself, he's a messy ass bird. Caw. Joe is really a bird. Like when he says he's a bird, I know y'all be like, it is true. This man is the definition of a fucking bird. He's messy as hell. And it's very like off-putting, to be quite honest. And he's messy. The reason why it's annoying is because I've seen people online saying, oh, Marc likes to throw rocks and hide his hand. No. Joe likes to light the match, throw it, watch everything blow up, run away, and then come back and be like, oh my gosh, look at the destruction. I can't believe it. Why do you keep starting shit? Because we're going to get into it, but my biggest problem about this whole situation is, how is it that you as the boss, Joe, you irked and agitated the whole situation, and then when shit gets turned up, you gonna say, y'all not doing that shit here, y'all not doing that shit, y'all better take that over somewhere to the ghetto, to the projects. You are the projects. You are the foundation of said projects. What are you talking about? He has a habit of starting shit with people on the cast. He starts shit, he stokes the flames, and then when shit blows up between those two people, he wants to turn around and then try to play real boss mode, like, oh, why are y'all acting like that? This is somewhere that you work. What the fuck? Then stop doing that shit. Because he did the exact same thing with Melissa and Ish. Him and Flip kept fucking doing that damn narrative. Kept agitating it. Yes. Eventually, Melissa fell into it, but y'all started that whole thing and then turned around later and tried to say, oh, that wasn't us who started that narrative. That was y'all. Are you kidding me? So, the first hour or whatever of the show, right? It's everybody except Flip. And as we could pretty much tell at this point, Mel no longer works there. From my understanding, Mel quit. We'll get into that because that's important later. So the first hour, everything was cool, calm, and collected. J1 came back on the show. Cool. Everything's going good. For an hour and some change, everything is flowing very smoothly. Then big hippopotamus ass fucking Flip brings his ass on the fucking set, comes onto the show, and literally just like changes the entire energy and mood. And it's not the first time. He constantly does that, and it's not in a good way. So for example, everybody finds the clip funny of when Flip had like went somewhere and he comes back and out of nowhere he starts talking about how at the basketball game that they had, how Melissa was afraid of Marc's wife and her friend, and oh, she wanted to say hi but she didn't really want to say hi. Like, just started that whole thing, came out of nowhere and blew all of that up for no reason. Why can't you just come in, sit down, and do your fucking job without being like that disruptive? It's absolutely ridiculous. So he comes in, sits down or whatever, right? Like I said, he already completely threw the energy off because everything was fine before he walked his ass in there. I got my notes because I wanted to make sure I had it right. So this started off because they were talking about like just Marc in general, right? And the conversation pretty much came up about, I forgot exactly how it came up, but Joe was like, well, y'all keep talking about Marc, but Marc is the one who said that he would take a cut or whatever, like, for the rest of y'all. And everybody was like, what? So they get into this whole conversation about if somebody on the show was asked to take a pay cut, would they take a pay cut? Go back and forth over that or whatever. Little jokes is exchanged. And then Mona is like, well, I don't see the point of having that conversation because everybody is here for a purpose. Like, Marc, you are the smart one, and that's your role, so you play that. And then Marc said to Mona, and you're the funny one. And then he said, and Flip, and he just didn't say anything at all. So everybody, so Ish and Ice or whatever, and everybody starts laughing. So Flip says, long story short, Flip was like, see, I don't got time for this. The difference between me and you is that you talk, what did he say? He said, you talk about people behind their back. You talk about people on the cast behind their back, not on a pod, but behind their back, behind the scenes, so that you could suck up to Joe or whatever, suck up to the boss, like you trying to be a suck up, because I always see y'all over there laughing and kikiing, like right now, I don't care about what y'all faces making. And he's like, what are you talking about? Well, we're going to get into some of that, right? And then Marc was like, I don't talk about people behind the scenes or whatever, and you should know that. Because I know a whole bunch of stuff that you told me, and I didn't air that out at all. And so then Joe was in the back, like I said, being messy, like, yeah, cause he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't air you out in front of millions of people. That's loyalty right there. That's what the fuck we talk about. We talk about somebody that's loyal, unlike you. Of course, Joe being messy as hell. So then Flip pretty much says to Marc, like, this is what you do. Like, you like to pander. And what else did he say? He said, you like to pander, you like to give favor. Like, he said favor. And even Mona in the background was like, favor how? And he was like, because this is the craziest part. Flip said, because the whole point of this job is that we're all supposed to come to this job, put our best foot forward, and that's pretty much it. And then Marc said, yes, and is that not what I do? And he said, that is what you do, but you also do extra shit behind the scenes or whatever to try to get favor, and then you try to point out what everybody else doesn't do. I'm going to stop there for a quick second before I go any further, because I want to cover a couple of things here, right? First of all, as I said, Joe was the one that started all of this, because he's the one who came out of nowhere and said, well, Marc is the one who said that he would take over cut, or Marc is loyal and that's why you're not. Now granted, no, he was playing, but still, you're still stoking the fire when niggas is already like on edge with each other or whatever, right? And what I don't get is that specific part when Flip says, you try to do shit behind the scenes to try to suck up to the boss. No, and like Marc said, so you're mad because I'm doing my job, and like he was like promoting, that's what you're talking about? You're mad because this is, let's just call a spade, because I don't even got time to kind of talk through the bullshit. Let's just call a spade. Ever since Marc has got on this show, Flip has obviously been jealous for a couple of reasons. I think number one, the fact that Improper Improv, which was the show that Joe and Flip had together, didn't pretty much do well when they tried to bring it back, and they cut that out. But then they went from taking the behind the scenes, because it used to just be behind the scenes on Patreon, and they turned that into the Marc and Ian show. So now it's not like behind the scenes anymore. It's a show with Marc and Ian, kind of like a little variety, little wannabe show, whatever. And so I feel like Flip is pressed about that, about the fact that Marc now has another show when Flip had another show on a network and he doesn't anymore. I also think that it bothers him that Joe really, really likes Marc as an employee, because prior to Marc coming here, Flip pretty much was damn near Joe's favorite. And now I'm saying from Flip's point of view, and to be quite very honest, Joe is absolutely stoking the fire and adding on the, oh, Marc's my favorite and Marc's here to replace you. He's absolutely doing that as well. But Flip, you are almost 40 years old. And for you to be as grown as you are and to continuously fall into the bullshit that Joe does, look at how Ish and Ice reacts when he try to do that shit. They don't pay that nigga no mind because he's messy as fuck, and they know that. It's the fact that you continuously fall into it. It makes literally no sense to me at all. It makes none, right? I also think that, like he said, he brought up, oh, you be trying to do stuff behind the scenes. No, this, like, for real, this is what it is. Even prior to Ice and Ish being on this show, when it was Joe, Rory, and Mal, Joe has always been saying, for a long time now that he wishes that the other co-host on his show would do other things because okay, let's be real. It's called the Joe Budden Podcast, but he has a Joe Budden Network. But to be very honest, Joe doesn't have another show that carries. He tried the show with the two girls, but we know that Joe cannot work with other women. It just don't work. God knows. I don't know how long one will last. But that didn't work. He had the I think the show with Zaire or whatever, but he's a football player, so how can he really commit to that? When Maul was on the show, he was saying that he felt like Maul should do like a sports little thing, and then Rory could try to do something else. Since this new iteration, he has said that he felt like Ice could do like a gaming situation, that Ish could do like a real estate situation. So the point of the matter is, Joe has been saying for years that he wants the other people, co-hosts that he has, to branch out and have other podcasts and stuff that pretty much he could like put on his network. And I think the fact that since Marc has started, he has hit the ground running and has been doing everything that Joe has been asking all of the other co-hosts to do. I think that's why Joe favors him. I mean, I think it's clear that Joe favors Marc, but I think that's simply because of his work ethic. Since he's gotten on this show, he has showed his ass in a good way. He's been working, showing up, like you said, doing the things like promoting the show. Nobody on this show outside of Imani and Marc promotes this bitch. Nobody else does. And Mel when she was on there. But outside of that, nobody promotes the show. That's not doing anything to try to suck up to the boss. That's being good at my fucking job. That's being good in me taking my job seriously and my position here at this network or whatever company seriously. So if that means that, yes, I need to engage with the JBT community on Twitter, then that's what I'm going to do. If that means that I got to promote here and there, then that's what I'm going to do. My question is, why the fuck does that bother you? Because what he tried to say is, you do that and then you point out what other people don't do. Again, I watch this show all the time. Marc don't really point that out. And when you do, it's more so like just on some playing shit. And I'm not understanding, how does that apply to him, but it doesn't apply to Imani? Because Imani does a lot of the same shit that Marc does outside of the podcast. So why is it not applied to him as well? Again, let's just call a thing a thing. You're mad because it seems as if Joe kind of likes Marc and likes the way that he works or whatever. And you're pretty much not like the favorite teacher's pet no more. You not. And to sit up here and say, and I'm so glad that Marc called this out, but to sit up there and say that Marc kisses Joe's ass, are you serious? The same person who literally be up Joe's colon when he says anything. He's so funny. Oh, Joe, you that nigga. No, Joe, because I know you that nigga. You be getting bitches. You literally dick ride Joe. What are we talking about? Kiss ass. I think Imani called Flip like Joe's little brother because you literally act like his little brother in the sense of you are on his dick. Now, for me, it don't bother me. But you cannot call Marc out for kissing Joe's ass when you are the number one Joe peen rider. You'll be right on the tip. Right there on the tip. So to try to call somebody else out for that literally makes no sense when you are the main person that does that. But that killed me to be like, you're literally saying that you're mad because he does his job well. You're mad because he doesn't just sit on the podcast and then walk out and do nothing else. Just because that's what the fuck the rest of you lazy niggas do. And I don't even want to call them lazy because everybody might just not be as invested. But if you're cool with just coming on the show, which, again, I think this is one of the biggest problems with why Joe, Rory, and Maul fell out. Because I think that Joe thought that the same way that Flip thinks, which is, my job is to come here and to work on this mic and that's it. And you know what? You're absolutely right. But how can you get mad at the next person for wanting to do more for their job than you are? Period. And again, like I said, I've never heard him be like, oh, the rest of you niggas is lazy. Y'all don't want to do nothing else. No, he just puts in the work. What the fuck are we talking about? Him and Imani, if anybody, be going back and forth about shit because they're the two that do stuff off of the podcast, not you. That to me was very telling to say that. Flip was like, wait, hold on. How did he say? Oh yeah. So when he said you try to point out shit that other people don't do or whatever. And he said, and to me, that's sucker shit. So then that's pretty much when it went up from there. Marc lost his shit and said, do not call me a sucker. Now I'm going to assume because Mona said in the background, like when Marc said that. She said, Philly niggas don't like that. And they talked about it later in the podcast, but it's not necessarily just like, people like, oh, we call people worse than suck it. It's not that. Words in different places have different meanings. What is not a big deal in the city of New York to say to somebody might be a big deal in Philadelphia, might not be a big deal in Cali, might be a big deal in New Orleans. Y'all know how this shit go. For example, in New York, people love saying, suck my. It is something that people say. It's disrespectful as shit, but it is something that's very much so. Man, suck my dick, suck my dick, suck my dick. You go to other places, you can't just tell people to suck your dick. They don't just take it like that. So when you call him a sucker, to you, that's not that big of a deal. But first of all, Marc is older. You do not call no older man about the age of like 45 or something like that a sucker or a jive turkey or anything like that. They're going to get mad. So if he's telling you, so Marc is saying, do not call me a sucker. I'm telling you, do not call me that. Flip is so slow that he says, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. He said, it's disrespectful. Flip said, disrespectful to who? Who the fuck else are you talking to? This is why people call Flip not the smartest. You are talking to him, and he's saying it's disrespectful. And you said disrespectful to who? The nigga that you're talking to. That's who it's disrespectful to. Stop being disrespectful. And he asked you 3 different times to stop doing it. Then Flip said, I'm not calling you a sucker. I am saying that you're doing sucker ass shit, which then could make me call you that. So then Marc started losing it, whatever. Imani tries to come over and be like, no, calm down. And now, mind you, now Joe is like, okay, it's enough. It's enough. Stop doing that, because I'm really about to go. I just went off on Joe earlier, but I'm going to go off on him again, because it's annoying. You can't keep doing that shit, bro. He's really going to end up getting sued one day for the shit that he do. Now Joe's in the background like, no, y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to calm down. Then stop stoking the fucking fire then. You cannot put the fucking toothpaste back in the tube. And that's what he does. He likes to like fire the gun off and then be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody got shot. Stop it. Stop the shit. It's fucking unprofessional, and we're too grown and old to even be dealing with that. So Joe's in the background telling him to calm down. Imani comes over and is like trying to get Marc. And Marc is like, no, fuck that shit, Joe. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm not potting. I'm done with this shit. I'm done. So then Flip ends up standing up. When you are going back and forth with someone, you never stand up. Unless you want to take it there. Every nigga knows that. Every nigga knows in the argument, you do not stand up unless you are willing to go to the next level now. So, both of them were sitting down. Marc kept saying, if this is not what it is, then like, let's just stop. Flip stands up. Which then Marc was like, so then what the fuck you trying to do? And stand up to him was like, we could go the fuck outside. Now here comes Joe. Oh, no, you're not doing shit in the hallway. Y'all can take that to whatever projects y'all want to. Was it projects when you were sitting up there stoking the fire? You keep doing little shit to irk situations. And then when it gets to the highest level, you want to be like, oh, y'all are doing too much. Stop fucking doing it then. Stop agitating shit. You are supposed to be the boss, and you constantly agitate situations, then want to turn around and yell at everybody else about how the fuck they're acting. Another thing, because again, like I said, I watched this shit pretty much to the end. Joe asked everybody there, I forgot, wait, what was it exactly that he was saying? He was like, stop having side conversations. That's what it was, because I think Ish was talking to somebody, and he was like, y'all need to stop doing that. Stop having side conversations. And so then Ish was like, okay, that's awesome. So when you do it, can we call it out too? And Joe was like, I don't do that. Everybody's like, bro, he did it 3 different times throughout the show where he kept saying, he was telling them not to do something, and then when they call him out on doing it, he says that he doesn't. But by the end of the episode, he was like, why the fuck is it always, oh, well, you do too. It ain't about that. I told y'all to stop, so fucking stop. First of all, these are grown-ass men. One day, you lucky these people are your friends, because one day he's going to get punched in the face again. Stop talking to grown-ass men like they're your children. I get that they're your employees, but at the end of the day, these are not children. You don't talk to people on like, who the fuck are you to ask me? Shut the fuck up, because I said what it is. Whoa. If any time was the time to turn up, that was the time to turn up. The problem is that, this is the thing, you are the boss, so you can technically do whatever the fuck you want to do. But my thing is, sit in that. When they call you out about stuff, just simply say, I'm the boss. Yes, I can do it and y'all can't. Just sit in that. But the problem is that you try to say that you don't do things, which is where that very infamous, famous ass little clip of Joe and Ish going back and forth over the whole girl situation. Because as Ish said 2 years ago, and it still stands today, it's not the girl, it's the principle. It's the fact that you said that you don't do something, and I'm giving you evidence that you do. That's exactly what's happening here. Instead of just saying, well, I'm the boss. When I'm talking about shit I don't like, I'm talking about what y'all do. I ain't talking about what I do. And if that's how you feel, although that's not a good way to carry it, because as Marc said, what do you say? Attitude reflects leadership, capping, okay? Be the fucking example that you want to see. So that's number one. But let's just say you don't want to. Fine. Sit in it then and say, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you niggas. Don't worry about what I do. I could pull my phone out. I can have side conversations because I'm the boss. You niggas can't. But please stop gaslighting everybody to keep saying you don't do things that you fucking do, because we sit here and we fucking watch you. It's very annoying. Back to Flip and Marc. So, like I said, everything gets real heated or whatever. Eventually, everything calms down. And my thing about this is because we're going to bring it back to Mel too. Oh, also within the back and forth, right? Because I wrote this down. When they was going back and forth, right? And Marc was like, you should know that I'm not the type to tell people business because, you know, you told me something that I could easily say, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not that type of person. And then Flip was like, well, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead and say it. And Marc was like, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not you. I don't tell people's business that I said I'm not going to say. I'm not you. You do that. And I said, you better hit it right on the head, because that's why Ish constantly calls Flip a rat ass bitch, because all Flip does is take stuff that people told him off the show and then brings it right on the show. For everybody, every single person that's on that show, he does. They'll talk about some shit that was not on camera. The minute they hop on camera, he want to bring it up, and everybody's like, come on, bro, like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. So as Marc said, unlike you want to talk about the difference. The difference between me and you is that I don't take shit that people tell me off camera and then bring it on this flat platform in front of a whole bunch of people and say, that is the shit that you do. That is a honest fact. Also, Flip constantly says that he is okay with doing things to people, but he does not want them to do the same thing to him. And they have called him out about that about 1,010,000 times. You can't keep doing that. If you can run up on people and do whatever, then they can run up on you. If you constantly touching and patting people, then people could and touch and pat you. It's really just that simple. But like I said, to bring up the whole thing with Mel is, it makes literally no sense to me why Flip is allowed to continuously get away with the shit that he gets away with. It's obvious at this point that he's the reason that Mel left this fucking show. And the fact that he's the reason that Mel left, and for whatever reason you decided that he was more fucking valuable than Melissa Ford, that makes absolutely no sense to me, but okay, whatever. Or maybe she just decided that she didn't want to do it anymore. Cool, I understand that too. But for him to still be here after everything that happened with Melissa Ford, the fact that he gets into it with every single person on here, and the fact that, granted, you did start it, but he took it further, in the words of Ice, throughout this whole thing, and you're just gonna let this nigga come back. For what? He don't bring nothing. I get it. You like him because he's kind of a wild card like you, and he's just gonna say random shit. But as niggas get older, that shit's not entertaining. I don't even understand who is Flip's age that watches his fucking content. It's very juvenile shit. Niggas have children. Y'all act childish enough on that show. Flip literally acts like a 2-year-old compared to y'all. Like, y'all act like 7 and 8-year-olds. This nigga acts like a 2-year-old. It's enough juvenile shit going on there. We don't need that nigga on there to make it even more juvenile. And like I said, to call it a thing, let's just call it a thing. That nigga has brought more problems than anything. The fact, like I said, that he was constantly getting into it with Mel. This is how I see it. Melissa Ford is no longer on this show. So, because a lot of this show, especially this new iteration, like really hung on her being dogpiled on. Like there's literally a whole on the Joe Budden, I think, podcast clips. There is a 2-hour video called Dogpiling on Mel. All of the videos that they got on there, and her shit is 2 hours. Why? Because the facts of the matter is that Mel Ford on that show was used as a punching bag for the niggas on that show. She took it in stride, but it is what it is. Now that Mel is no longer there, they need a new punching bag. And so far, it's been Imani, because when we go on Patreon, why the fuck are we spending an hour and a half talking about Imani's fucking life? He's a nice enough guy, but I don't care to talk about for an hour and a half his dating life, his sex life, his, shout out to him, but his cancer that he just went through. I don't care, but y'all don't have her there to pounce on anymore. So you have Imani, and now that Imani is not always on the main show, and now it's Flip as well. So you, Flip, had no problem when Mel was the punching bag and she was getting dogpiled on. But now that she's no longer there and the spotlight now shifts to you and then now shifts to Imani, now you got a fucking problem. Because my thing is, people are like, well, Marc is always insinuating or talking about that Flip is dumb. Let's be very clear. That narrative been there way before. What are we talking about? The whole little the joke of the chicky nugget, whatever the fuck that joke is, that predates Marc being on this show. People calling Flip dumb predates Marc being on this show. He does not present himself in a very smart way. What else are we supposed to say? He don't be knowing simple shit. He don't know simple shit. What are we supposed to say to that? And then when you have Marc, who is as smart, Marc is extremely intelligent. So when you have somebody like that run into somebody like Flip, like he said, he was like, oh, you keep using all these tricky words. No, I use simple words that you don't understand. And it bothers him. He don't like the fact that that Joe really likes Marc. He don't like the fact that the fans really like Marc. He don't like the fact that Marc is smart as hell and that he cannot keep up, like intellectually going back and forth with him. He don't like that shit. And he don't like the fact that he's not a new target. Now, I will say from Marc's point of view, Marc allowed Joe, same way that Flip did, Marc allowed Joe to hype that situation up, and instead of just being a bigger person and just letting it go and walking away, because you know how Flip is, you pretty much fell into the trap as well. So that's where Marc went wrong. You fell into the trap of the shit that both Joe and Flip do, which is they always be trying to fucking bait people. The same way that maybe last year Ish cursed Flip the fuck out because you keep trying people. And what Marc said was that y'all keep thinking that I'm pussy, and I'm not. I'm not, so stop trying me. I think, like I said, that whole situation was a build-up. If you've been watching this show, ever since Marc has been on here, Flip has been hating, throwing little shots. Oh, yeah, you love Marc. You be tap, when he comes around. Oh, he's your new favorite. He gets salty every time that nigga open his mouth. You don't bring as much as Marc. You're not as valuable as Marc. And you don't work as hard as him. And you're mad. You keep trying to say that he brought some big-ass cult following. Yes, I believe that a new set of people do watch this show. But as somebody that was already watching the show, and I knew who Marc was, and he came on the show, it's not that. It's just that it's nice and it's refreshing to hear his take versus what y'all do. You niggas do barbershop talk. That's what the fuck this podcast is. It's barbershop talk with niggas. I mean niggas. And to have somebody who don't necessarily fall always in barbershop talk and can bring a little bit of nuance, yes, that's nice. It's refreshing. Nobody wants to hear y'all sit around and just call people bitches and this person is a drug. Like, nobody wants to hear that shit all day. It's nice to have a different POV that ain't y'all typical nigga shit. In my opinion, y'all don't say much, not even them. No, there's a lot of male podcasts. They don't really say anything much different from what the fuck y'all say. Y'all don't have much different takes than what everybody else has on, or what male-dominated podcasts have. Y'all takes be the exact same. So yes, it's nice to have somebody who doesn't really come from that forum, who doesn't necessarily come from that world, who comes more from a political, a scholarly type of world, to inject that into the conversations that y'all be having. That is nice. It has nothing to do with nobody trying to kiss anybody's ass. It's the same way how Mona being on the show. It's nice and it's refreshing to have a woman that's maybe not is not necessarily like Mel, to have her on the show. That's all it is. Grow the fuck up, bro. Grow the fuck up. And this nigga needs to be off this show. It's already too many people on this show. I've been saying that forever. The cast needs to be rotating. Joe, Mona, Imani, Ish, Ice, Marc. That's it. And obviously Parks is always there. That's it. Rotate them 6 bitches out. We don't need nobody else on this shit. Get rid of that fucking get rid of that damn stripper, star tender, wherever she is. We do not want her. Stop trying to make fetch happen. We liked Mel because Mel was beautiful and she had substance. Not just because she was beautiful. No shade to my good sis over there, but she's there because she's nice to look at. I see the comments. We see the way that y'all, she literally says bullshit that y'all would jump on Mel's ass for. But because she's, I don't fucking know what, she's light skinned and she thinking she got a fat ass and big titties, y'all sit there and y'all let her say whatever. And y'all just be like, oh, that's just so insightful. Oh my gosh, you niggas act like y'all ain't never been around no pretty bitches. It's really mind-boggling to the viewing audience that y'all claim that y'all be around bad bitches so much and y'all constantly at the strip club and oh, I pulled this person and I pulled that person. But the minute that a bad bitch walk in the room, y'all act like y'all fucking 5. Why are y'all acting like y'all teenagers because a very pretty woman is sitting here that y'all all claim that y'all know? If y'all know her, why are y'all acting like fucking teenagers when she's walking in there? If she's a stripper that y'all have seen naked before, why are y'all all sitting up here acting like a damn fool when she walks in with something see-through and don't know how to fucking pay attention for an hour and some change? Somebody's lying about being around bad bitches because y'all don't know how to act the minute that one walk in. The minute a beautiful woman walk in, y'all all act stupid for 2 hours straight. We love Mel Ford because she was beautiful and had substance. Yes, she did not know how to take accountability for things. Yes, sometimes she was oversensitive. Yes, sometimes she did too much. But it was a combination of all of those things. Not just, she's very beautiful, let's just sit her there. And that's what y'all are trying to do with this girl, and it's not gonna work. That's why we prefer Mona. Because Mona is both beautiful and she has substance. All of these fucking bird brain bitches to y'all, I don't want to say that, because that's how y'all look at her. I'm tired of it. Stop bringing the strippers and the bartenders on this show for y'all to make a fool out of them. It's annoying, because then they sit up there and argue with us like we the ones being sensitive. Like, what's the one girl that they brought up there before? I don't know, but it was last year or whatever. One of the girls, as y'all like to call it, the baddies episode, or the what is it the other y'all try to call it? I can't even remember, but like the baddies episode is what the fans try to call it. She came up there, she literally sounded like a dumbass, and the fucking camera is panning to all of the men in their faces. And so I put in the comments, this makes me sad, because I don't like when they bring women on here that they know can't really carry a conversation, and then try to make it seem like, oh yeah, no, we understand, because they're laughing in your face. The girl won't go and reply back to me and say, oh, you're being way too sensitive. They wasn't laughing in my face. That's how slow these bitches are. They don't even get that they're being joked on and laughed at in their face. So please, if the bitches can't even comprehend that y'all are laughing at them and not with them, please do not bring them on this show. It's annoying as shit. Ugh. I swear to gosh, this is my last month on Patreon because I cannot deal with it. The older I get, the less patience I have for this bullshit. And Joseph Anthony Budden will be getting sued. You better mark my words, allegedly. He will be getting sued, allegedly, one day for the way that he continues to operate this shit. Y'all really made Marc get out of character. I've never seen Marc that mad, ever. And I've been watching Marc as a commentator forever. Since I was a kid, this nigga been on TV. I've never seen him that mad. Get this bullshit out of here. I'm done.